Hi. In this project, we have an API call, and from the API call, we are going to get the response. From the response, we are going to do some kind of functionalities on top of the response which we had received. So how I'm going to test this is the one which we are going to achieve now. And how I'm going to mock the API call, also we are going to see. Here to do an API call, I'm using axios. Using axios module, I am trying to do the get call with respect to this API. So how I'm going to test this is like I created test.js, and here I'm trying to require the axios module. Why I'm requiring axios module is to do an API call, I tried to use the axios module. So that is the reason I am requiring axios module. And then I'm trying to test the get users functionality. So that is the reason I have exported get users, and I'm trying to import get users here. This is the basic functionality. And then I am trying to test this functionality now. How I am going to test without mocking. So I will take the terminal now, and I will do like npm run test. So if I do this, it is running this, and it is like a test suite got passed. Here, what I had done, like should fetch users, and this is, I will do this. This is like users.js file, and this is like a test.js file. In get users file, here we can see like it is actually calling the API and getting the response. And then we are going to get the ID. So here I can console the response. So it is doing the actual call of the API. So this is the API response I'm going to get. So now I actually no need to do the API call. I just want to mock the API call. And then and on top of the response, I want to test this functionality. That how I'm going to achieve now is I'm gonna comment this code. I'm gonna take jest module here. So with jest, we have the functionality called like jest.mock of axios. Means what the module we tried to hit the API, that module I'm trying to mocking here. So jest.mock is like an inbuilt functionality of the jest. I'm trying to use that .mock of axios. And then I have written this here. I'm just gonna uncomment this. So this is the functionality. So here, how we are mocking and then getting the response. Here we can see the actual response from the API will be equal to 7. Now, here I am trying to give what is the ID, and then I am trying to expect like what should be the expected response. So, and here the main achieving what we are achieving here is like in users.js, we are trying to test this line of code. So there might be in actual project, there might be multiple lines of code. On top of this response, we want to test those lines of code. So how we are going to do that is the one which I'm trying to demo here. So here I created the response like an users. And here, this is the actual call, right? Here we can see what kind of response we are getting. And same kind of response I had added here. So this is the data I'm going to get here. This is the one actual response I'm going to get from the API call response dot data of 0. I gave means I am gonna take the 0th element. I'm trying to demo, but here it is like an array. This is like a multiple objects are present inside an array. So I'm gonna take the 0th element. I'm gonna take the ID of that. But actually, from the API, we are going to get the ID as the 7. But now I am trying to do here like a ID as a 6. If needed, we can test this out like by consoling even console.log of. We can do this and then just falling back to the previous theme and commenting out the mocking, and even this, just we'll see what should be this data of 0, because it is here we are getting an object, right? That is the reason I am trying to do this here now. So here we can see ID as the 7, and then this is what I'm gonna get from this actual API call. But now what I'm doing is I'm not gonna call the API. I am going to mock the API call. So now I'm going to do yeah. So here, what I'm trying to do here, this is the actual response of the API call, and this is like a mocked response API call. And I'm gonna give an array, and I'm gonna match this with the response what I am getting from the API call. This is an array, and then I am taking an object, and I gave ID as a 6. And I gave the responses what it's matching with the response what I'm getting, remaining fields, and then this how I am matching with how I'm getting here the response. Here we can see data and then page, per page, total pages, and then data. Data is the one I am use and get means I try to give an array and object, right? And this users I'm trying to refer here. This is what I had done. I had made this response now. And now we are going to use this response. How we will use this response in place of this means we are mocking this and then saying that take this response, and from this response, const response equal to use this one whatever we are getting. That is what we are achieving here. So for that, what is the methods we can use is like, as I am using here like an axios module, I am using like axios dot what, like here I use like a get, right? So get method, axios dot get, and then I am saying like the value means whatever the response what I am getting from that is like a mock resolved value. This is like a built-in methods of the jest that I am using here, mock resolved value of the response, whatever I thought like to give and test. So that I'm gonna give it here. So this is like a mocked resolved value is the method I'm going to use. And from this line, it is going to mock this line and then get the response. This is the response it will try to use. And then whenever we say like await get users, it is trying to use this response now, and it will print the value to be equal to 6. Now we can see what is the response of this. So now if I try to run, so now we can see API data is like a 6. So here I'm trying to get response.data.id, right? That is what it had printed. And this is like a total of users thing. So here I gave like a response.data of 0, right? This is what it had printed now. Before it in this place, it had printed like a 7. if we see this, it had printed 7 of the actual response of the API call. Now it had printed this, the response of the mocked one. So this is how we can mock. And related to the methods, I'll come in detail, like in further sessions, what are the in detail methods we can use. But in this session, we had seen like how to mock an API call and how we can override our response, like whatever we thought of testing way the response should be, that we can add it here if we want to break and see how we can break this API call, and then how we can add some kind of validations or validations of working on top of the breaked users. Example, if we are not getting ID, in this case, we can like remove the ID and then test like from the response. Example, if you are not getting ID, are we handle that ID properly validation wise if ID is not coming for us? So in this way, like there are multiple ways we can, on top of this data, we can have in actual project the way we will do the validations and test this out here. So this is what I try to achieve here. We had demoed that, and in further sessions we will try to see on just module like bit more on how we will do mocking on even complex API calls. And this is the module of the just npm module, and this is the documentation of the just. In brief, like in further sessions we'll try to demo more on the mock. And as of now in these sessions we seen like what are the methods we had used and try to mock the API call. Here I had tried to use mockResolvedValue and then trying to mock the response of the API call. This is the one, and used like just.mock method and then try to pause the module what we are trying to do API call. Yeah, thank you.